My sister falsely accused me of stealing, and my family believed her, so I proved them all wrong. My sister accused me of stealing her bracelet. My parents believed her instantly. They threw me out. Here's how I proved them all wrong. It started on a Sunday afternoon. We had just finished lunch, and everyone was scattered around the house. I was sitting at the kitchen table, scrolling through my phone and sipping tea. Sophie walked in looking frantic. Her voice was high and shaky. "Where's my bracelet?" she asked, eyes darting everywhere. I didn't know what she was talking about. It was some designer bracelet, a birthday gift from our aunt. Gold, with tiny diamonds along the edges. She never let anyone touch it. That day, she claimed she had left it on the bathroom counter before her shower, and now it was gone. I told her I hadn't seen it. She didn't respond, just stared at me. Then, in front of our mom, she said, "It was just us home this morning. So if it's not in the bathroom, where is it?" Mom's eyes snapped toward me. "Elena, did you see it?" I shook my head, confused and slightly annoyed. "No, I didn't even go in there today." Sophie stepped closer. "You were near the hallway before I showered. I saw you." Her tone wasn't curious. It was sharp, like she had already decided. I laughed nervously. "That doesn't mean I took it." Our dad joined a few moments later, drawn by the raised voices. Sophie repeated the story, adding extra details now. How she was sure it was on the counter. How she had seen me walking past the door. How I had been acting distant all week. I stared at her in disbelief. Was she serious? Was this really happening? Then came the sentence I'll never forget. My mom, quiet but firm, said, "Elena, if you took it, just tell us. We can work through this." I blinked. "You think I stole it?" Dad crossed his arms. "We just want the truth." I looked at both of them. The people who raised me. The people who were supposed to know my heart. "I didn't take it," I said. Calm, certain. "They asked me once." I said no. They didn't ask again. That night felt like a courtroom. Except there was no judge, no jury, and certainly no presumption of innocence. Just me, my parents, and Sophie playing the role of victim with practiced ease. We sat at the dinner table, food untouched, air heavy with suspicion. No one spoke for the first few minutes. They just looked at me like I was already guilty. My dad broke the silence. "If you're hiding it, just bring it back. We won't be angry." I stared down at my plate, trying to keep my voice steady. "I didn't take it. I don't know where it is." My mom sighed loudly. "Then how do you explain it disappearing while you were home alone with her?" I looked up. "I can't explain what I didn't do." Sophie started crying. Real or fake, I couldn't tell. She said it wasn't about the bracelet, it was about trust. That she didn't feel safe around me anymore. I almost laughed. Safe? She was the one turning my entire family against me. And I was the threat? I told her she was making a mistake. That accusing someone without proof could break something you couldn't fix. But none of it mattered. They had made up their minds. My mom said, "We just want to get past this. But until the bracelet turns up, we need space to think." I knew what that meant. Not actual space. Just distance from me. I was now the uncomfortable presence, the source of tension. The next day, I woke up to find my things packed into boxes by the front door. My dad said they thought it would be better if I stayed with a friend for a few days. Just until things settled. He couldn't even look me in the eye. My mom avoided the room entirely. Sophie stood on the stairs with her arms crossed, like she had won something. I carried my bags out with my head held high. No tears, no begging, but inside, I was shaking. I had never felt so small, so erased, so alone. I wasn't on trial. I was already sentenced. I stayed at my friend Olivia's apartment that night. She offered me the couch, some tea, and a blanket that smelled like lavender and detergent. I didn't say much, just sat there in silence, trying to understand how fast everything had collapsed. 1 minute, I was helping cook lunch. The next, I was branded a thief and pushed out of my own home. The next morning, I got a message from my aunt. Heard about the situation. If you're struggling financially, there are better ways to ask for help. I stared at my phone in disbelief. Sophie had told people. She was spreading the lie beyond our house, painting me as some desperate, jealous sister who stole out of spite. My face burned. I couldn't believe how easily people were ready to believe the worst. At work, I was distracted. Couldn't focus. I kept checking my phone, hoping for a text from my parents. Something, anything that showed they were having second thoughts. Nothing came. When I called my mom, it went to voicemail. When I messaged my dad, he responded, "We need time." That was all. 3 words. After 23 years of loyalty, of being the responsible one, that's what I got. Olivia tried to make me feel better. She said families argue, that it would blow over. But this didn't feel like an argument. It felt like exile. Like I had been cut out not just from the house, but from the idea of being their daughter at all. And the more I sat with it, the more I realized they didn't want the truth. They wanted quiet. And I was too inconvenient to keep around. The worst part? I started doubting myself. Not that I had taken the bracelet. I knew I hadn't. But I started wondering if I had somehow brought this on. Was I too cold with Sophie? Too distant? Was I so forgettable that no one even hesitated before turning on me? They didn't ask for the truth. They didn't ask if I was okay. They just packed my things and replaced me with silence. They threw me out to keep the peace, not to find the truth. It was almost 2 weeks later when I got the message. It was from my mom, short and awkward. We found the bracelet. That was it. No apology. No explanation. Just 5 words that hit like a punch to the chest. I read it 3 times, hoping for more. There wasn't anything else. I called her immediately. She answered after a few rings, her voice low. It was in one of Sophie's old handbags, she said. She was cleaning her closet and found it buried in the lining. I waited for what should have come next. I waited for, "I'm sorry." I waited for "we were wrong." But it never came. Instead, she said, "It was all just a big misunderstanding." I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was absurd. A misunderstanding? I had been thrown out, isolated and humiliated, and all she could offer was a weak excuse wrapped in denial. "You believed her so quickly," I said. "You never even gave me a chance." She sighed. We were under a lot of stress. Sophie was upset. You know how she is. That was it. No accountability. No ownership. Just deflection. Just more of the same. I hung up the phone before I said something I'd regret. Later that day, Sophie sent me a text too. "Sorry about the bracelet thing. I really thought you took it. No hard feelings?" I stared at the message, stunned. No hard feelings? As if what she did hadn't shaken the foundation of our relationship. As if destroying my reputation could be brushed off with a shrug. I didn't respond. I couldn't. Because if I did, I knew I'd say exactly what I felt, and there'd be no going back. Maybe there shouldn't be. The bracelet was found. The accusation proven false. But nobody tried to fix what they broke. Not my parents. Not Sophie. They wanted everything to return to normal without doing any of the work. The truth came out. But the silence was louder. I didn't get revenge the way some people might imagine. No screaming match. No viral takedown. Just the truth, told calmly, clearly, and with nothing left to lose. It started with a long post on my private blog, one I hadn't updated in over a year. I wrote everything. The accusation. The exile. The silence. and how the bracelet had finally been found. I didn't name names. I didn't have to. Anyone who knew our family would understand. I wasn't out to destroy them. I was out to reclaim myself, my voice, my version of events. The post was shared by a few friends. Then more. Then more. Within days, people I hadn't spoken to in years messaged me. I always knew something was off. I'm so sorry they did that to you. Thank you for saying what so many of us have been through. Sophie never said anything publicly, but she stopped posting online for a while. My mom texted once, asking me to take the post down. She said it was embarrassing for the family. I told her. It was humiliating for me too. Difference is, I didn't get a choice. I wasn't trying to ruin anyone. I was trying to survive the ruin they left me in. And I did more than survive. I healed. I started writing again. I found people who believed me without needing proof. I learned that validation doesn't always come from the people you expect. Sometimes it comes from within, or from strangers who say, "That happened to me too." I stopped waiting for my family to say sorry. I stopped expecting Sophie to realize the damage she caused. Instead, I created a new version of myself, one who didn't need their approval to feel whole. I found peace in the simple fact that I hadn't stayed silent, that I told my story once, and it echoed. You only have to tell your truth once. The rest echoes on its own. It's been almost a year since everything happened. I haven't seen Sophie. I haven't been back home. My mom texts occasionally, always pretending nothing ever happened. She'll ask how I'm doing, send a photo of the garden, tell me I should visit for dinner. But never once has she said the words I needed most. We were wrong. And I've come to accept that she probably never will. Some people don't apologize because they don't think they've hurt you. Others don't apologize because they know they have, and that shame is too heavy to carry. Either way, I stopped holding my breath. I stopped waiting for the moment that would magically undo everything they said and did. I still carry the scar, but it's no longer open. It's something I trace with my fingers on quiet days, not to reopen it, but to remind myself how far I've come. I don't hate them, but I also don't trust them. And that's okay. Forgiveness isn't always about letting someone back in. Sometimes it's about letting the pain go while keeping the door shut. I live in a new place now. I've built a life that feels honest, simple, and mine. I spend time with people who see me, believe me, and love me without conditions. I don't have to explain myself in every room I walk into. I don't have to prove I'm innocent before I'm believed. That kind of peace is priceless. Sometimes I wonder if Sophie regrets what she did. I doubt it. People like her don't often see the wreckage they leave behind. But that's not my burden anymore. I no longer carry the weight of being misunderstood just to make others feel comfortable. So now I ask you, if your whole family turned on you because of a lie, would you ever let them back into your life? Or would you choose peace, even if it meant walking alone?